Hi, welcome along. My name is Zuri. Today I'm going to take you through a practice that is really going to focus on your core, based on the principles that we use in Pilates, but not an actual Pilates practice here today. I want you to focus on 6 main movements of your spine. Forward flexion, back extension, side flexion from right to left, and spinal rotation from right to left. Now, when we have full range of movement of our spine in those 6 planes of movement, we have in essence a healthy spine and therefore a healthy core. So do you know where your core is? Most people look to this spot here, but your core is everything from your shoulders down to your hip line. So if I draw a line, straight line from shoulder to shoulder to hip, hip to hip, and back up, you have this rectangular shape here in the middle, which is basically the trunk of your body and the center, the core. And there's been a focus to that here in the practice. So to start the practice, come to a seated position. If this is not the most comfortable position for you, grab yourself a cushion and place that under your sit bones. Find your sit bones resting onto a cushion or onto the mat beneath you, and try to draw your spine up. So create length from the base of your spine. So if you think of a sort of cutting your body here in half, you're drawing up, but also drawing down. So you're creating this length in 2 ranges of movement. So this is your spine at its utmost position. Place the hands towards the base of your rib cage with your thumb at the back and the fingers wrapping around towards the front. And notice how my elbows are drawn out nice and wide. Take a breath into this space where you can feel your hands and your fingers are. Breathing in. And then let that go. Rib cage breathing. Inhale. And let that breath go. Feel the rib cage expand sideways. Breath in. Take a long breath out. 2 more, breathing in. And a long breath out. Breathing into the front, the sides and the back of your rib cage. And letting that breath go fully and completely. Take the hands towards the ground and reach up and over. So going into side flexion and then coming up and over, reaching into side body on the other side. Reach up and over. Come up, reach, extend, up and over. Come to center, gently rotate. Wrap the hands around the body. Gently rotate, wrap the hands and look over the other shoulder. 1 more right to left. Gentle spinal twist, spinal rotation. Come around, do 1 more on the other side. Spinal rotation, spinal twist. As we come back to a seated position, come to a comfortable position where the knees are bent, the feet are flat, and you can gently round your back and take your time lowering down. Move so slowly to create this beautiful rounding through the back of the body and still lowering. When you find yourself down onto the mat, let the head rest, the shoulders are back. Extend out to the tips of the fingers, both arms are straight. Come back to that rib cage breathing. Raise the arms up, hold the arms there, and take a breath into the back of the rib cage. And exhale. Breathing in. And breathing out. Can you feel the rib cage expand sideways on the mat? Exhale. 1 more, breathing in. Take a long breath out. This time, breath in, move the arms back. As you breathe out, circle the arms around, exhaling, curling head, neck and shoulders off the mat until you lift to about the tips of the shoulder blades. Inhale. Start to breathe out now. Exhale, circling the arms around the body, deepen the crease, the curl over the breastbone. Inhale. So this is known as forward flexion. So I'm rounding lengthening the back of the neck, curling forwards, deepening the crease over the breastbone. One more breath in. And take that long breath out. Pausing here. Once you've lowered the head, lower the shoulders and rest the body. Gently curl the tailbone off the mat. It should feel like your lower back or your waistline is pressing slightly deeper into the mat. Now let it come back to neutral and then rock that the other way until you can feel like you can place your hand under your lower back here. Pelvic tilt forward, the lower back flattens or lengthens out on the mat. Move your pelvis, tilt it the other way until you feel that space underneath your back. Pelvic tilt forwards, pelvic tilt gently away. Try and keep the arms and the shoulders and the head completely still. The only movement here is through the pelvis, through the lower back. And really you're focusing on the movements of your pelvis, which in turn creates a shift and a change in the feel of your lower back. One more. Find neutral spine position and let the body settle here. Notice the areas of your body that are connected to the mat, the back of the skull, the back of both the shoulders, the back of your hips, and the back of your heels. Slide one leg away along the mat. Slide the second leg away and notice now how that feels different. Keep the feet in flexion. Can you feel the difference here into the lower back? Bring the right leg back first, followed by the left leg and return. So we'll try that again. Left leg leads the way. Slide that left heel along the ground. Slide the right heel until both feet are in flexion. Can you feel the difference here across that band around the pelvis and the lower back? Drag that left leg back. Drag that right leg back. Let's do one more right to left. Right leg extends and lengthens. Left leg extends. You may feel slightly, a little bit more space under your lower back when both your legs are straight. When you drag the heels back one at a time, it changes the angle subtly of that lower back. Try one more left to right. Slide that leg away. Slide the right one away. Feet in flexion, both arms, both legs strong and active. And come back to a neutral spine position. Take a breath in. Curl the head, neck and shoulders off the mat. Lift the legs one at a time. Notice again how by lifting the legs up with the knees stacked over the hips, how that changes the feel. Lower the head down and then lower the legs one at a time. Take a breath in. Curl the head, neck and shoulders off the mat. Lift the legs up one at a time. Stack the knees over the hips, holding the legs in that tabletop position. So here you're curling not just the upper half of the body, but creating a gentle curl through the lower back, through the back of the hips. Lower the head down and lower the feet back down. We'll practice that one more time. Breath in. Exhale, curl. Lift the legs one at a time. Pausing, holding. Knees stacked over the hips. Deepening the curl over the breastbone. Lengthening through the back of the neck. Curling the shoulders and curling the hips just slightly off the mat as you bring your legs up to tabletop position. Lower the feet down. That changes the angle of the pelvis. Lower the head down and pause. Go out to extension. Now this time, as you extend the legs away, point the toes, so before they were in flexion, point, and as you reach the arms up and over, can you feel how your back gently arches? So if you can touch the hands, tips of the fingers reaching to the floor, the toes are in a pointed position. Feel the difference under here. You may feel that it's not just your hand that goes under your lower back, but you may feel like you can get your hand under the back of your rib cage. So this is known as a very gentle back bend. Obviously not neutral spine, but have a feel, have a play around with this in your body. If you were to bring the arms back first, notice how the rib cage starts to come closer towards the mats. And then as you slide the legs along the ground, how that changes the feel in your lower back and through your pelvis, neutral spine position. But this here, you should be able to feel like you could slip an envelope under your lower back. We can feel the back of the skull, the back of the shoulders, the arms, the back of your hips, and the back of your heels on the mat. Slowly begin to move arms and legs together. So point the toes, reach the arms up and over, and feel how the spine changes its angle, changes its position. Open up the chest, reaching. Imagine you're reaching for each end of the mat or each end of the room. And notice how much of the back of your body is off the mat. Keep the toes pointed, keep the arms active, reaching away. And then slowly return first the arms, feeling how the shoulders change the angles, the back of the rib cage comes back to the mat. Slide the legs back away, and you're back to neutral spine position. Bring the knees really close this time, curling your tailbone off the mat. Come into a beautiful rounding of your lower back. Curl the tailbone, gentle pelvic tilt. And just there in that position, how you're creating more space into your lower back, rounding through that back. You could leave the head on the mat or gently curl and tuck the whole body. Beautiful rounding, length through the back of the neck, rounding across the back of the shoulders, and creating this width and this space across the back of your hips. Very slowly, very gently, hands on the back of your thighs. Come on up to a seated position. Come to a kneeling position. So from a kneeling position, have some space here between the knees. Reach the arms out nice and wide. Rotate. Come through the center, rotate, and go the other way. Spinal twist. Try to move through the rib cage. Keep your hips still. And create this movement here, wrapping around through your rib cage. Spinal twist, spinal rotation. We're taking the head, the shoulders, the arms with you, but keeping everything from the waistline lower than that, nice and stable and still. Looking over the right, looking over the left. One more, right to left. And as you come back through the center, lower the arms slowly down. Reach the arms out wide again. Can you lower your hips over? So you come onto the right hip and the feet are towards the left side. Reach up and over, come up and over, extending into side body. Take a breath in, come up, and take one breath. Inhale, bring your body up. Look at the space between the knees. Keep the arms active. Shift your weight over to the other side. So onto your left hip, and the feet over towards the right side. Shift your weight up and over to one side. Breath in, come up, kneeling position. Try that again. Shift the weight. So keep the arms active. Shift your weight down to your right hip. Reach up and over, coming up and over to one side. Use the energy of the breath in. Inhale, come up. Last one to the other side. The arms for counterbalance. Shift the weight over. Lean, reach, extend up and over to one side. Inhale, draw your body up. And exhale, lower the arms down. Take a breath in, raise your arms up. Bring the arms out in front of you. So the arms are extended right out in front of the chest here. Lean back slightly, hinge back, and then come back up to center. Keep the arms out in front, hinge back. Keep the top of the feet, maybe the shins on the mat, hinge back. One more, hip hinge, hinge back. Come up through center and hold. Reach the arms up nice and wide. Take that right leg and step that right leg through. Take that leg and step it back. Change sides. Step the left leg through. Step it back. One leg at a time. Comes forwards. And step it back. Change sides. Step forwards. Lift the right foot. Step it through, land it. Take it behind. Kneeling position. Keep it in flow. Come up. Land that front foot. Take it back and down. Coming up. I'm using the core to keep me stable and upright. One more right. Last one here on the left. Pausing. Bring the arms out in front, sit back into child's pose. Gentle forward flexion of the body, big toes together, knees wide. Reach the arms up front and let the forehead just gently soften. Forehead can rest onto the mat. Take a couple of breaths. Really just opening up and creating space into the back of the body. Think about width across the back of your hips. Every breath in widens the back of the rib cage. And creating that width across the back of your shoulders. As you walk the hands back towards the body, come back to a seated position. Hands on the back of your thighs, gently C-curve the spine as you lower, slowly lowering your body down. Arms beside the body, shoulders roll back. Have the heels underneath the knees. So there's a little bit of space between the feet. Straight line from ankle to knee. Press the palms down. Pelvic tilt. We saw this at the beginning. Gently tilt the pelvis towards you. Feels the lower back imprinting onto the mat. And then start to pick up lower back. Pick up the back of the rib cage. And pause. Take another breath in. And slowly massage, starting with the upper back. The back of the rib cage. The waistline. And then into lower back, and then the back of your pelvis comes back to neutral spine position. So this should feel natural, nice and rested. And then we change the angles of the spine. We tilt the pelvis, that starts to lengthen or flatten out the lower back. And then we start to pick the lower back off the mat. And then we pick up the waistline, and then the back of the rib cage, and we hold, breathing in and breathing out. One more breath in and slowly lower. Take your time all the way down, slowly. And we'll do one more. Pelvic tilt, curl the tailbone as slowly as you can. Micro movements, lifting up, coming up into that bridge position. The arms are active. Take one more inhale here. And slowly lower your body down, taking your time, releasing one vertebrae at a time until you come back to that neutral spine position. You did this one earlier. Go for full extension. Reach the arms up, start to point the toe. Go for that extension, reaching for each end of the room. Feel the back gently arch and lift away from the mat. Slowly roll your body over here. So rolling over onto the side and then over onto your tummy. Bring the hands in front of the chest. I'm going to prop myself up here, elbows under the shoulders, almost like a variation of the swan, the feet slightly wider than the hips. So we have a straight line from elbow to shoulder, coming into a slightly stronger back bend. Now this might be all that you need here. If you wanted to, pick one heel up at a time and bring the heels to almost rest onto each other. We should get that feel and that sense that the rib cage is lifting away from the mat. You're bringing your chest forwards, the top, the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Curling the heels towards the tailbone, the heels resting one upon the other. Take one more round of your breath here. And as you slowly lower the feet, one at a time, slowly lower the upper body and place your head, the forehead rests right into the middle, and the arms behind the body. Use the hands underneath the shoulders, press up onto hands and knees, and gently sit back into child's pose. The last forward flexion. Reach the arms out in front. As you gently bring the body back to a comfortable seated position, whether that's sitting cross-legged or kneeling. Getting to know your core. Thank you.